Dr Atilla Kisla is the International Justice Cluster Lead at the Southern African Litigation Centre. Dr Kisla, good afternoon to you and thank you for your time again on Newsfeed. Okay, so we now have these applications for arrest warrants for leaders on both sides of this conflict. Is Khan on strong legal grounds for applications for all of these arrest warrants?
I think so. Otherwise, his test that he has to satisfy is at this stage must meet the reasonable grounds test. That these individuals bear criminal responsibility for the crimes that are under the jurisdiction of the International Criminal Court. So if he wouldn't have met that threshold, he wouldn't have made that application, and now it's up for the pretrial chamber 1 in this case, to decide whether it will issue those arrest warrants for all those 5 individuals or how it will decide.
When they make a decision in that pre-trial chamber, is there any kind of legal argument or do the judges just look at the application?
The judges will consider the application, and as far as I know, the application will most likely not be made public. And we will likely in a few weeks see a decision by the pretrial chamber, just as like an indication or just to get an idea how long this might take. In the Putin matter, it took slightly over 3 weeks. So in the upcoming weeks, we should expect a decision by the pretrial chamber.
Dr. Kisla, I mean, for him to announce the applications for both sides in this particular way and to do it on the same day, I mean, it's a pretty transparent attempt to, I suppose, appear that even-handed. Let me put it like that. That's my view. I'm not a lawyer, so I could be wrong. But, I mean, does equality matter in a conflict like this? Isn't genocide, murder, and crimes against humanity are crimes against humanity? You don't have to wait before you can charge both sides. If someone's breaking the law, you charge them, full stop.
So how the procedure works at this stage is that the prosecutor has to apply for arrest warrants for individuals where he sees the reasonable grounds test met. I think with respect to that the prosecutor's office now filed an application for individuals from both sides of the conflict, it rather shows that the court wants to send a message that it is acting impartially and independently without any fear and favor and without any political affiliation. So that's, I think, why why that application for arrest warrant was made public in this case, and probably was like a deliberate and tactical move by the prosecutor's office in that regard.
Do you think it's going to be seen in that way, or do you think, Dr. Kisla, it may be seen quite cynically in some quarters? It's a very divisive issue, as we know. I would imagine people are going to see this decision in very different ways.
I think, legally speaking, legally looking at this application for arrest warrants, I don't think there's anything wrong. It rather supports the independence and impartiality of the court, that the prosecutor's office now filed applications for individuals from both sides. Now it's the ball is to say in the ICC judges court, and the prosecutor for now has shown that it's willing to fulfill their mandate to act without fear and favor and hold individuals to account no matter which position they hold in an organization or within a state.
Okay, that does make sense. So the process then moves to this chamber. Is there any legal reason why Khan had to wait until this moment? I mean, the war's been going on for over 6 months, 7 months, depending on your count. Is there any reason or any event that he had to wait for? I realize that it does take some time. You can't just, watch what's happening on TV and make a decision. You need a lot more evidence than that. Was there anything that he could have been waiting for in particular? Was there a process he had to follow?
It could be that due to a large amount of evidence, the investigation in this matter and the application for potential arrest warrants took longer. That could be one reason. However, I agree, and I have commented in the past that, especially with respect to the Palestine situation, that the prosecutor's office should act with the required speed and efficiency. So I can only speculate about the reasons why the prosecutor's office has only made that decision to make that application now.
I presume, in the meantime, that none of these people can travel to countries that are signed up to the International Criminal Court if the arrest warrant is issued. So, I mean, it's going to remind us, of course, of the Russian President Vladimir Putin, who, in the end, didn't come here for the BRICS summit. Exactly
right. So once the ICC arrest warrant has been issued, none of these individuals can travel to ICC member states, but ICC member states, once requested by the ICC to arrest and surrender those individuals, will have to act accordingly. And in a statement, the prosecutor also reached out to ICC non-member states that he's willing to cooperate and hoping for their cooperation as well in terms of an arrest and surrender. Of course, those states don't have like an immediate international obligation to abide by the court's request. But it will be similar to what we have seen last year in South Africa and the potential visit of the Russian President Putin.
So, Dr. Kisla, I mean, I think everybody on the planet has an important interest in justice, and that justice and the fact that if justice is seen to be done, it prevents other crimes. I mean, that's the way the rule of law sort of works, in a way. I worry, and we've already had someone make the suggestion that, in fact, things can go the other way. And both with Putin, he suddenly has an arrest to fear, so he digs in, continues with this invasion of Ukraine, would go the argument. So, in this case, where you have people on both sides of the conflict having arrest warrants, that on both sides they could now think, well, I've got nothing to lose, I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep going just to remain a free person. Could that be an unfortunate consequence of this decision by Khan?
Of course, that could be one potential scenario how things might turn out. However, from the perspective of international criminal justice, that would also mean that the court could never actually issue any arrest warrants for people high up in power or people from states where, for instance, states that are allies of Western states or the global North. So you would always run into those similar political challenges. So I think from a perspective of international criminal justice, this is a win, this is an important step, and we will see how the pretrial chamber what kind of decision they will make in a few weeks.
Dr. Atilla Kisla, thanks very much indeed. International Justice Cluster Lead at the Southern African Litigation Centre. Well, a lot of international